Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors. We know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. And let's face it, we all want financial freedom and security, but so few of us have actually been taught how to build long-term wealth while still earning an income. The truth is, owning rental property is the best, most effective way to increase your income and build legacy wealth fast. I'm David Dodge, and on this show, you'll discover how to take control of your finances and make your money start working for you. I'm here to show you how to build long-term wealth and cash flow while paying less in taxes through owning rental properties. Stop trading your time for money and get off of the transaction treadmill. Let's get started. Today, I will be speaking with a friend, a student, Jay Seaford, who was able to achieve awesome results using the BRRRR Method to acquire rental properties, and he hasn't even been doing it that long at all. Jay, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
How are you, buddy?
Happy to be here.
Oh, man, you have been crushing it. So, Jay, you have been working with me with BRRRR Method and BRRRR Method Mastery to achieve more income, additional income, passive income by buying rental properties, right?
That's correct.
And how long have you been doing this?
It's been about a little over 2 years at this point.
2 years,
Yeah.
okay. And how many properties do you have at this point?
Right now, 11.
11.
So I have 3 that are rented and working on 8 others. So,
Man,
yeah.
Congratulations. You're crushing it. Now, here's the cool part about my friend Jay. He has a full-time gig. He's a trainer, owns a gym, has a successful business, but that is his full-time gig. 11 properties he has done after hours, right?
While having a full-time
While
job,
having
yeah.
a full-time job. So if you work full-time, that doesn't mean that you can't invest in real estate. That doesn't mean you can't market to sellers. That doesn't mean you can't own rental properties. And that doesn't mean that you can't acquire rentals with little to none of your own money. So Jay, tell us about your journey.
Well, I like you said, I've been in the fitness industry for 25 years. Owned my studio for about 15 years. And it's just always been a passion of mine. But, in the background, I've always had an interest in doing homes, getting involved with rentals and flips. And just got to the point where, I really wanted to make an effort to move towards doing that, and reached out to our mutual friend, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And he connected us. And it's been a great experience. And I like it even more than I thought it would, at the beginning. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. How many of you said you have 11 properties right now?
Yep.
Under contract or purchased, and what part of are these through the phase?
Let's see. So, like I said, I have 3 that are paying rent right now.
3 rented.
I have 4 that are being worked on, and the rest of them we just have kind of settled on the agreement,
So you have them in different stages of the BRRRR Method.
Correct. Yep.
So the first 3, let's talk about those.
Yep.
Right? The first 3 that are rented, how did you find these deals? And just tell us a little bit about each of these.
Yeah, so let's see. I have a specific area that I'm trying to stay within.
You have a buy box.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm within that area, and I have found that by looking on Marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook Marketplace, and Craigslist, that has proven to be pretty successful for me. And what I'm looking for is for sale by owners. Looking for rehab homes for sale, and just like anything else, you probably have to go through a lot of them, to find the right scenario and to find somebody who's motivated and who wants to sell, at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that's really where I found most of them. And then another thing is that, you can't underestimate relationships that you build with sellers, people who are wholesaling and stuff like that. So there's a couple, of people that I've developed relationships with that keep coming back to me now. You know, they'll send. I'll be like one of the first ones that
They are wholesaling to you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And they're leaving meat on the bone.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm fine with that. I mean,
why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, as long as it makes sense for me and my numbers.
So how much money out of pocket have you spent?
0.
You haven't spent any money.
No.
Because you're buying deals at a discount. You're getting them from wholesalers at a discount.
Correct.
You're getting them direct to seller at a discount as well. And then what? So what's the next step?
Then I use my hard money lenders.
Okay.
You know.
And where do you find those people?
Those, you know, and that takes some time, I think. You know, it takes some time, especially when you're first getting started. You know, hard money lenders are not so interested in lending to somebody who doesn't have experience, right?
Right.
So the first one I used was a friend, you know, and a colleague, an investor with my studio, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think, you know, it's good to start with friends and colleagues.
Yeah,
and
your
stuff
own
like
network,
that.
people nearby.
Yeah. And then once you start getting experience, you know, what I have found is that people start coming to me, you know, so.
Isn't that funny how that happens? You start having some success, and then all of a sudden they don't want you to give the money back. They're like, I like this interest payment.
Yeah. Yeah, give me my money, and then I'll give you some more money.
I'll give you some more money,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden you have a lot of money that you don't even have deals for.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So I have, you know, I have a few people that are just waiting for the next deal. You know, I'll call them and say, here's the deal, and they're ready to.
So how are you getting a rental with no money out of pocket? So you've bought it at a discount from various ways, like you mentioned. You borrow it from a private or hard money lender.
Yep.
And then I'd assume you have to fix this thing up too, right? You're probably that's probably one of the reasons that you're getting these at discounts, is because you're buying properties that typically are going to need some level of repairs.
Yeah, that's how.
Sometimes a lot of level of repairs.
That's how we add value, and if we can't add value, then you know we can't increase the appraisal once we finish the repairs, right?
Yep.
So
get it fixed, and you're not swinging a hammer.
No.
You're a perfect example of somebody that loves leverage like myself. I don't swing a hammer. I don't use my money. I don't use my resources in terms of, you know, fixing the property up, and neither are you.
Yeah.
So you hired a general contractor?
Yeah.
Several, maybe? Working with a couple?
I have one that I'm working with now. I'm looking for some others. But, you know, the most I ever do is like landscaping.
Sure.
Or like cleaning out, you know, if it's like a hoarder type house.
Yeah, you want to have eyes on the property.
And that's it, you know. But I can see, you know, over time that I'm going to probably do less and less of that, because the less of that I do, the more I can focus on finding more, you know. I was taught a long time ago, only do what only you can do.
Ah, love that.
So
that's great.
Yeah, other people can do landscaping, right?
Right.
Just like my training career, I don't do a lot of training, but my trainers can do training.
Yeah, you own the gym at this point. You're the business owner.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So you really
have that
delegate.
same mindset.
Correct.
When it comes to real estate. So no money out of pocket. So here's the cool part. You have 4 rented, right?
Yeah.
So you went through the BRRRR Method process, bought them at a discount, and rehabbed these properties and made them safe and clean for the tenants. And who did the renting process?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Amazing. Was it hard?
Not at all.
Not at all.
You know,
just talk to people, make friends, right?
Yeah, exactly. I have been using Zillow Rental Manager.
Easy and free, right?
Yeah, and free, and they do a background check and they do a financial check. So I'm ensuring that I'm getting good, you know, good responsible tenants in there. And as far as like promoting each property, I've been using Facebook for that as well.
Awesome.
Marketplace. So I've been having around 60 to 70 people interested in every property I've
There's a lot of people that are looking to rent, no matter where you're at.
Yeah, I think, you know, with the way the housing market has been in the last couple of years, I think there's a lot of people who aren't in a position to buy, you know, so I think that's a reason why.
Absolutely,
one of the
it is.
reasons why.
Well, not only that, but you're rehabbing the property first, and you're providing them with a quality product, a clean, safe environment for them, their family, their children, right?
And I think that's a good point. You know, there's a lot of different places you could rent from. What are you going to do that sets yourself apart? You know.
Yeah.
And why would somebody want to rent from you? You know, they need to know that you're going to take care of them, right? And it's going to be clean and everything's going to be in working condition. And if it's not, they need to know that you're the kind of person that's going to take care of it, you know, in a quick manner.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So you get it rehabbed and then you go and you now have a hard money loan with a tenant in a property that is nice and clean and fixed and updated, which also, by the way, allows you to get top of the market rent because all of the other properties in the area that tenant's looking for that they may rent, they're going to obviously pick, the one that's going to be the nicest if they can afford it.
Yeah.
So that also is going to give you top of market rent. It's going to typically give you a higher quality tenant. Absolutely. If they're willing to pay more. I mean, those kind of go without saying.
Absolutely.
So then what? What's the next step?
So we, after I do the repairs.
After you get it rented.
After I get it rented, well, then, we get it refinanced with the bank, right?
So tell me about that process.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy, really.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be long-winded. Just tell me the process.
Yeah, we have, the appraiser come out, and, it's been a good, experience for me.
Sure.
And every one so far. And I'm always prepared to meet the appraiser, and I have my comps printed
So you go to a local bank or credit union and say, hey, I'd love to get a refinance. You're not asking for a purchase because you own the home already.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's important, right?
Yep.
So you're going there and you're asking them for a refinance, and then they send the appraiser.
They send the appraiser.
But they tell you when, so you can go meet them there.
Exactly.
And then what? So you go out and you meet them at the property, and it's rented. So you're coordinating with tenants, but that's easy.
Yeah.
And if you're doing the management like you are, you just call them. You have their number. Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Get them in.
It's really important to, showcase all of the repairs that you've done, everything that you've done to this home to make it better. And like I said, I come up with comps, and, every time I've done that, they have appreciated that. They don't feel like I'm stepping
You're not
on the
telling them
turf
what it needs to appraise for, but you're just kind of saying, hey,
here's what I think it should.
Look at it like this. You're basically saying, hey, I know that your job is a lot of work. Let me help you and make it easier for you.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to look at what I can provide and help you with, don't.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you like me to help you make your life easier? Of course they would.
Everyone has been.
They say, oh, great. Thanks for your input.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, like, I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but just this is how I see it,
And I love it.
So then I refinance it and get the loan through the bank and start, paying my monthly payments. And the rental payment has always been significantly more.
Let's talk about
obviously.
that. That's the cash flow. That's the difference, right?
Yep.
What you bring in rent versus what you have to pay out on all of your expenses. Excuse me. So all of the expenses. Let's talk about that. You have a mortgage once you refi. You may or may not have your taxes and insurance escrowed in your mortgage. Do you or do you not on yours? You do? Okay. I like to do it that way because then it's less to come up with at the end of the year. I had to come up with $65,000 at the end of this year.
Yeah.
And it hurts a little bit. But if you have it escrowed in, it comes out every month.
Yep.
So you have your mortgage with taxes and insurance. If not, save money. Put that money aside to cover those bills later. Then you're going to have maintenance. If you had a property manager, you'd have property management fees. And then you can also factor in vacancies and other things to help determine what that cash flow is. The more properties you have, the more things you can start to add in there. But basically, you have 4 rented already. What's your cash flow on those 4?
Well, the difference between the
what's coming in and what's going out?
Yeah, I mean, all in. I mean, we're probably pulling in about $3,600 a month, but that's some of that's going towards the mortgage, obviously.
Yeah, some of that's principal pay down. So what's the take home?
Yeah, like
that's pocketed in your pocket.
$1,500 to $2,000 a month right now.
From 4 properties.
Yeah.
So you're making $400 to $500 per property. Now, if you have some maintenance, it's going to eat into that, and that's why you're giving me a spread, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mine has a big spread because some months I might have to have a roof or an HVAC, but that's okay because the rest of the properties pay for those items.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily having to come out.
Yeah, it balances out more.
Love it.
Yeah.
So $1,500 to $2,000 a month cash flow. But you had mentioned I'm actually making $3,600. And how? Like, where's the difference coming from?
That's the equity I'm building, from them paying down my mortgage.
Love it.
So I'm really making that.
That's
I like
wealth.
to look at it as I'm earning that whole amount.
You're building wealth.
Yep.
By that. And here's the cool thing, man. Jay, I'm not that great at saving money. I'm really good at buying assets.
I'm not either.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to be. But if we can get good at buying assets, look at it like this, right? I don't have my little pink piggy bank nearby, but I love this little example. It's so dumb, right? But basically, like when we buy a house, we have this little pink piggy bank, and it's got like, you know, the $20 worth of nickels in it.
Yeah.
So you shake it, and you can hear it, and it sounds great. But every month, somebody else is depositing $200, $300, $400 in that piggy bank for you, on top of the $1,500 to $2,000 worth of cash flow. And that's per property, by the way. So really, you're talking about, in your case, with 4 properties, you're getting, let's say, $1,500 in cash flow a month, and then another $2,000 a month of pay down on the debt.
Yeah.
So that piggy bank is great because me and you can't really get to it. We can if we go to the bank and we refi, but it's savings on autopilot. Yeah. And guess what happens after 10 years?
Oh, yeah. It's that much more.
That piggy bank's the size of a VW Beetle.
Yeah.
Filled with $100 bills.
Not only have they been paying it down, but
you've been getting cash flow the entire time. Man, I love it. Okay, so Jay, let's talk about this though. You have been working with me for 2 years. You have 4 now, but you have 8 that you're working on. What is going on with that? Like, you have double.
Kind of crazy.
You have double under contract or in a project process from what you have currently.
Yeah.
Why the sudden ramp up, or was there a delay in the beginning? Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, you know, the first one I had was like, well, I'm kind of discounting this one that you and I did together. That was a flip, though. Yeah, that was a flip, and I love flipping properties with my students. Yeah, that was great, and it gave me the confidence to do it on my own. So the one, I think we each made like 40 grand on that deal. Yeah, each. More than that. I think. More than that. Yeah, love it. So my first one, it's in Valley Park, and that was like, you know, about a year ago. Okay. From that, and I was ready to start ramping up then. Yep. But having a really tough time finding them. You know, I think a lot of it had to do with the way the market was. Sure. A year ago. But you're not having a tough time finding them now. No, I don't know. I don't really know what's changed. Yeah, like starting this past fall, I just started. I know what changed. I switched a little bit to. I know what changed. You got excited about it. Well, that's one. You started seeing money come in. You said to yourself, this isn't that difficult, because when you first started, there wasn't a deal right away. No. Because of a couple things. You were learning. Yeah. You weren't excited, like I had mentioned. There was a lot of fear. Hopefully I helped you with those problems. Yeah. Though, right? I don't have the fear, and I feel like I can get through, any scenario that I come across. But yeah, I think that's part of it. I got maybe a little more motivated and a little more confident in my abilities to do it. It's hard not to get motivated and confident when you're making money. Exactly. Yeah, right. That helps a ton. And and then I think it's around that time I discovered that Facebook was a great lead source. Yeah. So let's talk about some of these lead sources that you have tried over the last 2 years to get you to, essentially, you have about 12 properties. Maybe not all rented, but you have 12. Yeah. And 2 months from now, 3 months from now, hopefully all of those will be rented, and you'll have yourself a $3-4 grand of cash flow, $4,000 worth of debt pay down. That's $7,000 a month of additional income that you didn't have this time last year. So talk about some of the lead sources that you've tried and experienced, and maybe you didn't even have success in some of them. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people have success with driving for dollars. I know you have. Love driving for dollars. And I've tried that. But you don't have a lot of time because you're a business owner. Exactly. So it's difficult to do that. Yeah. I can't be driving all around all over the place. And I even hired an assistant to reach out to these leads with minimal payback. And I think I gave it quite a bit of time. But I think the only house we've gotten from Driving for Dollars is the flip that you and I did. Okay, sure. I think we drove that area together. Okay. But besides that, it's either been marketplace or referral. Okay. So let's talk about the marketplace. You're talking about, you're basically just saying they're online. They're Facebook, they're Craigslist, they're Zillow. I mean, when you say marketplace, you're talking about all these different online places where it's free. Well, I'm talking about Facebook Marketplace. Specifically. Yeah. Okay, so people are going on the marketplace. Yep. I would imagine you're seeing both property owners, like the seller themselves posting it, as well as wholesalers, right? Yeah. So, and then you're like, I'm ideally looking for scenarios where it's for sale by owner.
Love it.
Not looking for, properties that are listed by agents, obviously, because we can generally get a better deal. They don't have to pay.
How are you getting a good deal when you find a property on the marketplace?
Well, they don't have to pay agent fees, right?
I want you to tell the audience how you're having this conversation, because there's people listening right now that are like, oh, yeah, I can do this. Of course you can do this.
Yeah.
But you have to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You have to take action. So tell us what that action taking what it looks like. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I find a house, and then I look at the area, and then I run the comps before I even call, just to see if it's even a possibility.
Sure.
It could work. So I come up with, what I could possibly offer for this house, and I don't even know how much repairs it.
You don't even know. Point, so what are you discounting the Zestimate, let's say, or whatever the number is that you can come up with, right?
Yeah. So
what are you discounting?
I've been using 70%.
Perfect.
Right off the bat.
Sure.
And again, I don't know the repairs.
That might even be high. I'd go a little lower.
Yeah. Well.
Go at 60, 65. But yeah, either way, it's working.
Yeah.
And you're doing this with no money. That's what matters.
Yep. So then I set a time to go take a look at it, and I run through it, and I have some ways to estimate repairs myself that you've helped me with, over the last couple of years. And if I really feel like it's a scenario that might work, then I try to put an offer in as soon as possible, and I try to get my contractor out there as soon as possible.
Okay.
So he can validate.
Tell me about the process of meeting them at the property.
Meeting the seller?
Yeah, that's typically what you're going to go do, right? You get them on the phone, make them a verbal offer, and if they like the offer, if you're in the ballpark, typically the next step is to go meet them there, right?
I meet them there.
And if you're virtual, by the way, you can get somebody else to go meet them there. That's not a roadblock. That doesn't mean you can't do this.
Absolutely.
Anybody can do this.
Absolutely.
So you go meet them there, and tell me this. Are you doing much more than just making a friend?
No, I'm doing that, and I'm trying to see how motivated they are.
By doing what? Listening and asking questions?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
You don't need all these sales tricks.
No,
I'm terrible at sales, and I've bought hundreds of houses, 160 plus last year.
Yeah.
I don't know the first thing about sales, but I know how to listen. I know how to ask the right questions.
Absolutely.
And I know how to get people to know, like, and trust. That's rapport. Know, like, and trust.
That's a good point. People love to do business with people they like.
And they know, and they trust.
Yep.
So that's what you do. You go out, you make a friend, and I think that this is so discounted. Nobody talks about this. They're like, oh, you got to have this trick up your sleeve or this. No, none of that.
No.
Make a friend.
And
Listen.
Most of these people understand. They understand that I need to, I'm taking a risk, obviously.
Right.
It's a calculated risk, right? But that I need to make money, for my risk, and they understand. And one thing you told me early on is, you should be embarrassed by your offers.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm not embarrassed by it.
Not anymore. You're not.
No,
because you've broken that fear for sure.
But I offer something, and I've never had anybody say this is ridiculous, or, they just are like, I understand, this. And either it's going to work out or it's not going to work out.
The beautiful thing is if it doesn't work out, then you just say, okay, well, what's your number?
Yeah.
You don't like my low number? Okay, well, am I in the ballpark? If your offer is 60 and they come back and they need 66,000, you're not that far away.
No, if something like that, you got to make it work.
Yeah, but if your offer is 60 and they need 140, that's too far out. That's okay. But if you don't get their number, how do you know? You got to ask. So don't be afraid to make offers. Eliminate that fear. All right, Jay, you are doing awesome, man. 4 rented, 8 more you're working on. That is a total of 12 properties, and you're going to have them all rented out just in the next couple of, I'd say maybe 2 months or 3 months at the most.
Probably, yeah.
You're going to be crushing it. So your cash flow is, $1,500 to $2,000 a month just on the 4 you have. You're also paying down debt in the amount of about $2,000 a month on these on top of that. How did you find your lenders? I think we had mentioned that. You started with your friends, right? Mm-hmm. Just people that were nearby in your network.
And then, like I said, they started coming to me after that.
I love it.
Just by, talking and then, posting on social media and stuff people have seen.
Where'd you find your bankers at for the long-term refinance side of the thing?
Through you.
I helped you, but it's not easy. It's not hard at all because it's just local people.
Yeah.
And you just got to walk in and make relationships. It's so easy. Banks make money when they lend it.
Yeah.
When I go to the bank and I give them $5 or $10 or $20,000, that's a liability on their balance sheet. It's an asset on mine. It's a they owe me that money back. So how do you think banks make money? If you don't know, this is it. They make money by lending it. So when you go into a bank and you ask a bank for a loan, they should be excited to work with you. In fact, they are whenever we go in, because that's how they're going to get paid. So you went to local banks, local credit unions. It makes for an easier transaction because you can get John or Paul or Debbie or Brenda's number who works at the local branch, and you have one point of contact. So we always recommend go local to start, because then you're not bouncing between call center and random people. Get 1 or 2 points of contact that you can drive to their office.
That's a good point.
It's going to make it way easier.
Being that I've been a business owner for 15 years, I appreciate the relationships that you build with people like bankers. So that's something that I took in with this business as well, is the relationship. Again, they need to be able to trust you and trust your process. And
it goes back to just making a friend again, doesn't it?
Really, it does, yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, making a friend is going to go a long way. Here's all the ways I can think of just from the hip. Finding private and hard money lenders. If you could make a friend with somebody that's in your market that's already hard money lending, or maybe it's Aunt Sue or your cousin Daryl. I mean, whoever, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Make a friend with them, as long as they like you, trust you, know you, you can do business with them.
Same with your contractor.
So make a friend with your contractor when it comes to the rehab process. Make a friend with your seller so you can get a property under contract. Figure out their motivation.
So they'll come to you with more property.
More in the future. Make a friend with the tenant if you're doing the management yourself.
Absolutely.
Or make a friend with a property manager to help with this process.
Yep.
And then you're going to go make a friend with your banker. You don't need a bunch of tricks up your sleeve. Just make friends with people and you will start having success in this business.
Yeah, when these people see how you do business and that you're responsible and you get back to them and you take care of things, when it comes time that you mess up on something, which we all do, right? Then it's much easier for these people to accept, because they're like, oh, he always tries, and he messed up this one time.
100%.
No big deal.
Jay, one thing I admire about you is you know what you want. So when you came to me, you wanted to learn how to wholesale and do some flips, and you quickly learned that really wasn't your thing. Your thing was buying rentals, creating wealth,
correct,
as well as cash flow and passive income. And you started doing some marketing and found some deals, and we did a flip together like you mentioned, but you knew what you wanted to do, right? And that's where you're focused your time and energy at now. And look where you're at. You have 4 rented, amazing, good work, 8 more on the way. Well, I just can't wait to see where you go from here, because once you get these other 8 rented and your cash flow triples and your wealth creation triples, passive income triples, it's gonna be really fun to watch you go from 12 to 20 to 40 to 50, and we're gonna be neck and neck in no time, my friend. I can't wait. You're doing awesome.
Absolutely.
You're doing awesome. Well, let me ask you, Jay, would you recommend my coaching? What'd you think? Be honest.
Absolutely. And I maybe don't tell you this enough, but I mean, it's been the best thing that I could have done as far as getting into this industry. If you're on the fence about, coaching with David, he goes above and beyond to help you out. And, I would not be near where I am right now without you. And
I like doing it, man.
My wife, well, that shows,
I love it.
And I hope that shows with my training as
100%.
well.
Yeah.
You want to do work with people you trust and like, but you want to do work with people that it's almost like contagious.
Absolutely.
They
you want to keep coming back.
Absolutely.
Love it. And, learning new things, having success, discovering that it's not difficult, eliminating the fear.
Yep.
That's really what I try to do the most, is just help people eliminate the fear. What's the worst that can happen? You want me to tell you what the worst that can happen is? You're going to have to make a phone call, a hard one,
Yeah.
and tell somebody you can't do a deal because the price was too high.
Yeah.
And you learned a lesson in the process.
That's about the worst.
And guess what happens often? They give you a better price or more time.
Yeah.
But that's about the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah.
So eliminating the fear. Well, I love it, man. You have been crushing it, and seeing you grow and creating this passive income, creating this wealth has been amazing. Anything you could share that might be helpful for the newbie that's just getting started, especially somebody that might be like full-time, that owns a business or has a job, and they don't have a ton of time to go do a bunch of marketing, you know?
Well, I have a few things. The first one is trust the process. You know, we both use the BRRRR Method, which always works if you're doing it right, you know.
Which allows you to do it with none of your own money or little to none of your own
Exactly.
money. That's the best part. That's the best.
You have to trust that process. And I think a lot of people are hesitant and scared to just jump in, and maybe a little weary of the BRRRR Method. I don't know. But, you know.
They're weary of taking risks. They're
Yeah.
weary of disappointing people. They're weary of having to make that hard phone call in the event that the deal doesn't work out. But failure plus failure plus failure plus failure plus a lot of hard work equals success. You have to embrace it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You know, I've had a lot of people come to me since I started doing this who are interested in doing it as well. And I've kind of explained how it happens, but none of them have taken a step. You know, it's, and a lot of that I think was you pushing me to make those steps.
Oh, accountability is part of the coaching.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you at? What have you done?
Absolutely.
I can't only show you the door. You got to open it and walk through it, my friend. I'll hold your hand even. We'll go together.
Absolutely.
But if you're
That's
not
what we
willing to
did.
walk through that door, nothing is going to get done. So
Well, we
trust
did
the
hold
process is a good one.
We did hold hands, and I think we skipped into that first one, didn't we?
Oh, you're being silly now. Okay. So what's the next one?
So do your homework.
Oh, I love
You
this
know,
one.
Run your comps.
Mm-hmm.
Run them again. Run them through more than one tool. You
Sure.
know, we use PropStream, right?
Yeah. Batch.
If you have access to
And Zillow
MLS.
and Trulia and
Yeah.
any option. Realtor.com, Redfin.
You can't do too much homework. I
You
think.
can't do too much homework.
And then the next thing is something you told me early on. There's not any single house that you have to have,
Oh, man, I love this one.
right? So be ready to, do your homework, offer your deal, and be ready to walk away from it. If it doesn't work out,
I'm
with your
usually
numbers-
walking out the door as I'm making my offer.
Yeah.
You know,
Here it is.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. No, I'm
Yep.
just kidding. You got to build rapport. You got to make friends. But there
think-
is no house that you must have.
No. I think when you first get started, you're like, oh, I got to get this house and I got to get this other house. And, you don't have any. So any house, you're like, I want this house.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to realize that there's a lot of houses out there. And there's going to be some that work with your scenario.
Your buy box,
your
like we
formula.
mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And if they don't, then they don't. Move on. I love it.
Yeah.
Great. That's a great piece.
Another one is to use all these tools that are available. In this day and age, there's so many apps and web-based tools that we use. The ones I use the most are PropStream.
Mm-hmm.
I run my comps through there. Rentometer.
Great for determining the value that you're going to collect
Absolutely.
on it.
I use that, every time I'm ready to start renting one.
Sure.
Zillow Rental Manager has been great too.
Free.
Free, yeah, it's free. They do the background check, they do the financial check, and the tenant pays for it. And you set up your lease on there. They sign the lease, and they take payments through the app too. So I don't ever have to hassle for payments or anything like that.
It's all there.
Yeah, and the rental manager will email me if somebody hasn't paid their rent or stuff like that.
Yep.
Then I can contact them, but it also reminds them as well.
That's right.
So
And all the tools that anybody would need, we have at BRRRR Method Mastery, the course. And anything from purchase contracts, joint venture contracts, amendments, assignments, scope of work, contractor agreements for your rehabbers or your GC crew, leases, and different items for checklists whenever you're renting a property or you're getting it back. Financial statements for your banks. We have all of it in the course. We love providing this because it's going to be the difference of people, having analysis paralysis and just taking action, jumping in. They have all the resources that they need. What's the next one, Jay?
be creative.
Ooh.
So every every scenario you do, every house you do is going to be a little bit different. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, it is.
So, my first one I did, the Valley Park house, I didn't give any money up front. I basically signed my name onto the mortgage with the previous tenant. Now, that's not going to work for everybody. It's a
creative deal. It's like a subject to type of play.
Yeah.
But it was short term. You were just going to pay the mortgage while you were rehabbing it.
Yeah. So I just collected the money.
That's not that crazy.
No.
That's not that hard to do.
No, it's not at all. But, it's something outside of the norm. Maybe,
it is.
But
you got all that back on the refi to where you didn't have to have any money in the deal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So get creative and be creative. And here's the thing. That doesn't just go for getting into deals or getting out of deals. That's just all the time. Be creative. You can make money with no money if you are creative. The BRRRR Method in itself is a creative strategy.
Yeah, it is.
And if you aren't willing to be creative, you are going to come across roadblocks and then you will quit. So don't quit. Be creative. It matters.
One more thing on that. I'm always of the opinion that, some way or another we can make this work.
Me too. And we will if we keep trying to find the solution together while we are strengthening the rapport we're building, which is just becoming better friends, right? Yeah. With the seller, the lender, the GC, whoever.
That kind of leads into my next one, which is always continue to learn.
Always.
I mean, that goes with anything you're doing. As soon as you continue to learn, you stop growing. You have to have a growth mindset, and that kind of helped me get into this in the first place. A growth mindset is where you believe you can do anything given the right instruction and the preparation. So never feel like I'm sure knowing you never feel like I know it all.
No, never.
Every day you're probably learning something new.
Always.
And the same goes with me, especially with this, but even with my studio, which I've been in that industry for 25 years, I have the mindset that I still have things to learn every day.
100%.
So
yeah, don't be closed-minded. Know that you don't know it all, and that you are going to be constantly learning new things. And when you make mistakes, those are lessons. Those aren't failures. Those are lessons.
You either win or learn.
You win or learn. You don't lose. Jay, you nailed it. And what would be one more thing that you would share that might be helpful to the newbie?
Get out there and make offers.
Get out there and make offers. That's the most important thing. Offers lead to contracts. Contracts lead to deals. And deals lead to rentals or wholesales or whatever. But I love the rentals because they're going to pay me every month. The cash flow. They're going to build wealth. They're going to have that automated savings we talked about earlier.
Even after you pay them down.
You don't have to have any of your own money in the deal if you do it the right way. So you're getting an asset with little to no money. I like the no money play, obviously. And then last but not least, there's massive tax benefits by owning rentals. It's depreciation. So these properties, you're going to get to have a phantom expense on your taxes just for owning them, which means you save more, or you keep more of the money you make. You pay less in taxes. Oh, and by the way, if you own these properties for the long haul, values are going up. It's only natural over time. Jay, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
You are crushing the game, and you are an amazing student. I love working with you. I love to continue to work with you. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's podcast and found a ton of value in this episode. If you are interested in creating wealth through rental properties using the BRRRR Method and achieving financial freedom in your life, go to wholesalinginc.com/rentals. Check out what the program is all about and schedule a call with my team. On the call, we will discuss your real estate investing goals and how the BRRRR Method and BRRRR Method Mastery can help you get there. I would love to help you get started on your way to generating passive income and creating legacy wealth with rentals. Every single one of you is capable of success, and more importantly, you are worthy of it. Thanks for listening. Signing out.